With lights, without lights, with lights, without lights, with lights, for sure. Okay. Hello. Hi. If you're new here, I'm a cosplayer. Please like and subscribe. The plan, the plan, is that I have currently working on a cosplay. Oh my god, it's right there. Yeah, I'm working on a 13th Doctor cosplay, and I've recently realized that my dressing gown, one of my dressing gowns, parts. Um, but like it's got like the weird sleeve things. It's got the little kind of flaps. You know, it's essentially a coat. They're practically the same thing, right? So what I'm thinking, I take apart the dressing gown because I hate it, and use it to create a pattern for the coat, and then make the coat. So yeah, wish me luck. So after painstakingly unpicking every piece of the dressing gown, I then had to pattern each individual part to use for the fabric of the coat. You can use patterning paper for this if you want, but I like to use greaseproof paper because it's much more affordable. There's probably downsides to this, but it works for me for the most part. So the gist of it is you lay out your tracing paper. I had a bit of a fight with mine, as you can see, but eventually it listened to me. Then I took a piece of the fabric and laid it as flat as I could on the paper and then drew around it to make the pattern. I absolutely could have done a better job of this, and in the end I ended up not actually using that bit. But you know, we live and we learn. These things happen. So yeah, then I completely gave up on this approach and decided to use some old random fabric to create a mock-up instead, because mistakes were made. And yeah, the pattern that I ended up making out of trying to place the fabric flat, it just wasn't working for me, and the pattern I ended up making was a terrible reproduction of what the dressing gown looked like. This is just me cutting out each individual piece, which I obviously had to do. Don't judge my cutting style. So I kind of made a mistake. I was only supposed to cut one of these, but I cut two. So I now have two back pieces. So I'm probably just gonna that one's grosser, so we're gonna use this one. Before you ask, yes, I am gonna be one of those people who, you know, tells you every single mistake I make, because mistakes are part of the process. I've spent a long time coming to terms with the fact that making mistakes is okay, and how to deal with those mistakes and stuff like that. So my motto has become mistakes are part of the process. And yeah, allow yourself to make mistakes. Anyway, here's me laying out fabric to cut out the pattern, and we shall see where this goes, and if I make any more mistakes. But in the words of Hannah Montana, everybody makes mistakes, and I think she was so real for that. So what I have here is my mock-up pattern piece, which I have laid on top of my proper fabric for the coat. And what I'm doing is I'm just tracing it, because I find sometimes when you're trying to like lay a pattern out, it doesn't quite sit right. Especially if you want something to be cut on the fold, it can be easier sometimes to lay the pattern piece out and then trace over it. So what I've done with this is I have the full back, I'm folding it over, and then tracing it out on the fabric, and then I will cut that out. And I'm using a fabric marker because I know a lot of people like to use chalk. Chalk is easier to remove, but I find that chalk is too easy to remove and very hard to draw on the fabric with, so I like to use fabric markers. It does stain, but you can easily wash it out. For the hood, I didn't actually like the hood that the dressing gown used, so what I did is I have this cloak pattern from Simplicity, and I used the hood off one of those cloaks, so the pattern of the hood was actually a proper pattern from a cloak. Here you can see me cutting out the hood. I also had to cut out the sleeves, the pocket facing, and the base of the coat itself. Once I had everything cut out, all I had to do then was simply to sew everything together, which sounds so easy, but it's not always that simple. Anyway, I started with the hood because I already knew that one. I knew how to do it. I'd done it before for a different garment, so I knew what I was doing. I was confident. I stitched the hood. But I also knew I couldn't put off making the base of the coat, and like, really, how hard could it possibly have been to make the base of the coat? So I started with the shoulder seams because they were nice and small and neat, and I figured if I messed them up, then it wouldn't be too much of a nightmare to unpick the stitching. So here's me stitching the shoulder seams. I then, after building up my confidence a little bit, moved on to the side seams, and before long I had a nice little base of the coat. So here's me trying on that little coat base to make sure that everything fits fine before I continue with it, and then I don't have to, go back in and let seams out or take seams in. Of course, before I even stitched the base of the coat together, I out every part of it from the lining. I did adjust the sleeves slightly because obviously I didn't want lining sleeve cuffs and coat sleeves cuffs to have to deal with, so instead I just made the sleeves longer in the lining, so they were just one piece, which made it a lot easier later when I didn't have to worry about 2 sets of sleeve cuffs. Once I was happy with the coat base, I went about pinning and attaching the hood, which again, I've done that before, so it's nice and straightforward. And here I am trying on the coat again after attaching the hood, just to make sure the hood sits right and everything's good. So then I couldn't put it off any longer. I had to work on the sleeve cuffs. This was my first time doing piping, and I was really nervous about it, but thankfully I just took my time with it and it turned out really well in the end. Once I'd stitched the sleeves together, I turned them out and attached them to the bodice. Once the sleeves were attached to the bodice, the only thing I had to do then was to start on the pocket welts. Okay, so we've got pocket welt pinned here. I have I used this template to mark out the pocket here, and then so for this line, stitch the pocket welt to it. Then I'm going to stitch I'm going to stitch that pocket on top with this line here that I've marked. The next part then is this line here, which is clear on this, so I'll show you this. This line here, I'm going to stitch the other pocket to, matching it up with this line here on the pocket, which I've marked on both sides, so it's easier to match up. So after that, I hope clear explanation, I got to work stitching the pocket to the coat and the pocket welt, and of course, after that was all done, I had to do my favorite thing in this whole thing, is to try it on. So here's me trying it on with the hood and the sleeves and the pockets, putting my hand in the pocket base and strike a new pose. And just to prove that I do in fact press my cosplays and that you should too, here is one of many video recordings as proof that I did press the seams during this whole garment making experience. And onwards we go with more progress made on the coat. I stitched along here and along the hood, which, as you can see, a very big hood, and along the edge here. My camera battery died, so I don't have that recorded. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to press it so that the seams of the hood sit flat, and it'll be easier to top stitch later. I'm also going to press these little floppy bits, otherwise known as facing, so that they're folded over, which will just make it easier for me to stitch them across later. I might also just press the edge of the lining again, so it'll be easier to stitch later. Oh, and also, where are they? Oop. Might also press the edge of the sleeves, so that they're also easier to stitch later. Basically, a lot of pressing getting done today. I have, including today, there's 3 days left in this month, and I promised myself I would have this done by the end of the month. I'm going to do all the pressing today, and then hopefully we'll get the bulk of the stitching done tomorrow. Thank you, past me. So full of hope. I actually can't remember. I could probably check the details of the videos, but I can't be bothered to do that. That sounds like a lot of work. I don't think I got this done in 3 days. I probably not. You know what really didn't help? Is me accidentally sewing the lining and catching the pocket in the process. Here's past me again to tell you more about that. So what I've done is, when I was fixing the lining pocket here, I accidentally stitched this pocket to it. So I've got to unpick the lining pocket again and restitch it again. But we're on the home stretch. I'm going to finish this coat. So what I did was I pinned the outside to the inside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch around it, and then I'm going to fold it over on that line, so that it has a nice hem. I've already done that with this one, so this one is mostly nice and ready to go. So now we're going to do the same on this side. What I'm doing now is where that stitch line is, I'm just folding over the top here, all the way around, and once I've done that, I'm going to fold it over again so that that stitch line, like here, is on the inside and makes a nice little head. once again, very good explanation past me. Thank you so much for that. It makes it so much easier to edit this whole thing. Breaking the fourth wall. Yeah, so I was literally just had to hem this, and then I could get on with pinning and stitching the zip. I'd already, so it's just pinning and stitching the zip. And then I did also spray the coat with a waterproof spray, because it's a coat, it's meant to be worn as outerwear, and the fabric was likely to get very damp otherwise. And with that, once we're finished up here, we can go ahead and see the end result. God, I look like such a Karen in this hair. I need to fix this wig. We're not going to talk about that. The wig, the t-shirt, the trousers are all off limits. Honestly, the trousers just needs an iron. I actually love the trousers and their giant pockets. Anyway. Getting off topic already. Yeah, good things, bad things. Speaking of pockets, quite like the ones inside. The lining could definitely do with an iron, but I think the pockets are pretty good on the inside. Glad I put so much effort into them. You can very clearly see that the zip is not like straight. It's as straight as me, haha. I should have reinforced the inside here. So if I was to go back, I will go back. I have had plans to fix this up, so it's better for a while now. Not least because the hem on the bottom is disgusting. You don't really see the hem on the bottom, but I do constantly, and I hate it. Yeah, and I need to reinforce the inside with some form of stiffener. So that the zip is straight, so that it's not all like wibbly wonky. I love the way the hood is sitting when it's down. It's not the best when it's up, because it has a tendency, because of the weight of the zip and everything, it has a tendency to drop back. But I love how it sits on my shoulders when it is down. It's great. I love it. And like, she doesn't have her hood up that much anyway. Also love about the pockets, the inside pockets, is I can just do this, and then just put it back in. It's fine. The outside pockets are fine. I do need to, again, sitting on the coat. I shouldn't be sitting on the coat. Even though that's how you normally sit on a coat. That's how you normally use a coat. The outside pockets also a little bit wonky. You could do with something to stiffen them up. Other thing is that unfortunately in the process a little bit of dye from the ribbon went on to the coat itself, and I can't get that off. But and there's a little bit of damage here as well, but grand. No one will see that unless I point it out, which is what I do, apparently. Yeah, so like hood, phenomenal. The rest of the coat could do a little bit of fix, but I made a coat. It was my first time making a coat. This is amazing for my first time making a coat. The lining is pretty much perfect. Like the sleeves are a little bit short, but I kind of like the sleeves being a little bit short because I normally do. This is my natural position for anything anyway, is like my sleeves rolled up. I don't like my forearms being covered for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, no. I'm proud of myself for making a coat. There are things that I would like to fix up when I get the time to. But, you know, overall, whenever I've gone to a con with this cosplay on, people have recognized me, which is always the key when you make a cosplay, is for people to be like, hey, it's that character. The coat, she good. From like here up, perfect. Flawless. From here down, a little bit, could be better. But it could also be a lot worse. Not to toot my own horn, but I made a coat. I'm cool. Yeah. But I will fix up the hem. I mean, look at that. That is appalling. Appalling work, but it's because I rushed it. I know that. It isn't the first time I've rushed something. It won't be the last. But it's a work in progress. Literally just like reinforce the flappy bits, redo the hem, and then I would be, and oh yeah, and fix the pocket welts so they sit properly as well, and then I would be perfectly happy with it. Also my first time doing ribbing of any sort, and like, look how good that is. Look how good that is. Damn. Like, this one less so, but like the sleeves are amazing. They're a little bit short, but they're amazing. I'm so proud of myself for that. I think I may have hemmed the sleeves a bit too much, but and either way, I'm proud of myself, and I hope that hope to improve it in the future. I also need to fix this wig because oh my god, there's far too much hair on this side for it to be right, but be grand. Just gotta like flatten her down majorly. Anyway, that is my 13th Doctor coat. Thank you for joining me. There she is now. That's how long it's taken me to make this whole entire video and to make the coat. Is she moved, she migrated. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, look after yourselves. Bye. Also, like and subscribe and all that jiggity jazz. Oh no, they're gonna make a COVID. Yeah. Everybody's talking about COVID. Oh, they're gonna make a COVID musical, aren't they? God damn it. Why? Don't need that. Don't do it. Okay, so, no. Right. I don't know.